Hey you guys, it's Jason from the RC Cave. Thanks for watching. Now in this video, I'm going to do an overview of some of the modifications and upgrades that I've done to my Axial SCX10. Now if you follow my channel, I have a video painting up and liquid masking this Ram 1500 body. I've got several running videos, different places around here in Ecuador, ones at a gravel mine, ones at a national park way up in the Andes, so check those out if you haven't already. I'm going to tell you about different tires I fit on here, some of the upgrades that I've done. So let me bring you a little bit closer and I'll show you. You can see I've got my Jeep Rubicon body in the background. My SCX10 was originally a Jeep Rubicon kit from Axial, and you know, that's one of the things I really like about the SCX10. You get bored of it, you just grab a few upgrades, a new body, and you've got a totally new rig. So let me tell you about the tires I'm running. These are 1.9 Super Swamper XLs from Proline. I really like them. They're my preferred tires right now for an SCX10. Being 1.9s, they're not like super wide like the 2.2s, but they're still very tall. Let me give you the stock tires in comparison. They're quite a bit, they're a little taller, but they're much wider, and just overall they're a lot bigger than the stock tires. I've also run these. These are the 2.2 flat irons from Proline. These are also great tires for an SCX10. You'll notice they're really not taller than the stock tires. They're significantly wider. They're super wide, but those go on an SCX10 really nicely as well. So those are also, you know, great tires. So I'm running Axial plastic beadlocks with 4 ounces of weight up front and 2 ounces of weight in the rear. In the past, I've used sticky wheel weights that you can get at automotive stores. I couldn't get them this time. You know, I live in Ecuador, it's hard to get stuff like this. So I used solder. And the solder worked out pretty well. It wasn't bad, but the sticky wheel weights really are the way to go if you want to weight your wheels. And I noticed after weighting my wheels, there's just a huge difference in traction. Before, those wheels would just spin out trying to go up a hill, and now it just goes right up with no problems. And another time when I really notice a difference is if you're in some heavy mud or if you're ever crossing a stream. Man, it makes a huge difference. Without weight, those wheels will just spin, or maybe you'll even get kind of taken with the current. But with the weight, this vehicle really weighs quite a bit. I haven't put it on a scale or anything, but it added a ton of weight, and it just makes all the difference in the world if you're trying to cross a stream or go through some really heavy mud. So if you haven't done that to your SCX10, you should. I've got a Proline light bar up here. These are Axial light buckets up front. I also have a Proline body mount kit, and I really like that quite a bit because it holds that body on really well. The thing about body clips on a crawler is there's always a little bit of give between the body post and the actual clips. You know, there's a few millimeters of space, and what I like about these this system from Proline is that they're threaded, and they give you O-rings to put underneath there, so you've got a little bit of rubber to cinch down on, and you screw it down just so, and the body's nice and tight. There's no space, there's no movement, so I like those body mounts. Those are pretty nice to have. Now that I've got the body off, let me show you the way I've got my battery set up here. I've got it in the front of the vehicle. The stock configuration has it back here. I followed Axial's battery forward mod that they have on their website. They have a blog posting that shows you how to do this, so check it out if you're interested. But I didn't like how high it came out. The stock configuration for the radio box is up here, and they put the battery on top of the radio box, and it ended up being so high that really raises your center of gravity. So I didn't like that very much, and what I did is I took the radio box and put it back here. There's some holes in the chassis which work beautifully, and for the front I used a zip tie. There's not a lot of weight in there, so that should work pretty well for me. I've also seen people put the battery sideways right here. That seems to work pretty well too, because you get that center of gravity even lower. But for me, I'm going to do it like this for a little while, see how I like it, because it brings that weight forward. And I've found that the more weight I have forward, the better I can climb hills. So that's the way I've got my battery set up. I have a GPM Racing aluminum gearbox on here. That's one weak point. I noticed the plastic stock gearbox has a tendency for these screws underneath to strip out. If you have an SCX10, you might have had the same problem right there. Another weak point in the kit is the stock plastic drive shafts. I believe they're called wild bore drive shafts. Those always break, so I went with the Integy stainless steel drive shafts. Those have worked out real well for me, and the fact that they're stainless steel means they hold up to the water real well. I also have GPM Racing aluminum C-hubs and steering knuckles. That's another weak point. That's a good one to upgrade. I have a lift on here, just a very small lift because I don't want to raise that center of gravity up too high, but a little bit of a lift helps me fit larger tires on with a little more clearance for the body, and also gives you a little more ground clearance underneath. I don't have my light buckets wired up with LEDs right now because I just recently did this complete teardown to do the waterproofing that I'm telling you about right now, but usually I've got those light buckets wired up with LEDs. So those are some of the basic upgrades that you might want to do on your SCX10. Alright you guys, thanks for watching my Axial SCX10 overview. If you haven't subbed already, please sub and hit that like button. See you guys next time.